Hey, this is Wayne Williams. Speaking of horses, and today we're going to visit with Mr. Carl Bledsoe. He has a training facility, Just Gait Horsemanship in Georgia, and he's going to tell us what he does to evaluate a horse as far as making this horse very supple and responsive to commands. So, today on Speaking of Horses, here's Carl Bledsoe.
Good afternoon. I'm Carl Bledsoe from Talking Rock, Georgia. My wife Tammy and I have a horse training facility here. We specialize in gaited horses, but we work all breeds. I get as many quarter horses, as many Arabians, even a few Mustangs we've had here. We believe in taking care of the horse's body and his mind. We believe in a horse being balanced both mentally and physically. Today I'm going to share with you, I've got a 7-year-old Tennessee walking horse here. He's my personal horse. I'm the only person that's ever worked this horse, and we're going to talk about what I believe is a supple horse. And I believe that a horse has to be supple before you can train him. I believe a horse has to be relaxed, and relaxation and suppleness goes hand in hand. So we'll get started. Jazzy stands pretty good for me, and I like for him to stand square when he will. If he doesn't stand square, I work on him standing square, because one day I might want to do a dressage test, and that's just one of those things. For the horse to balance himself, he needs to stand square. So that's one of the first things that I work on. Another thing I work on is a horse being able to lower his head. If I want his head down here, now he's got some grass here on the ground, so might have to argue with him with this. I want my horse to stand and be relaxed. If I'm holding the rein, I want him to stand here relaxed with me and not put pressure on the rein. If I drop the rein, I want him to follow the feel of the rein. If I put a little pressure on his head, I want the horse to be relaxed enough and trust me enough that he'll do this. I want the horse to stand if I want to approach him, ask him to pick a foot up. I want to be able to do that without having to manage my horse. I want to go all the way around the horse and be able to do all of these different things, because he is relaxed mentally and he has an expectation of what I'm going to do. I'm not going to pick his back feet up right now, but I'm going to talk to you about what I think a supple horse is. I'm going to make him move forward here just a little bit. I'm going to hold this rein just like I'm holding the rein riding this horse. And I want him to walk a circle. This is not quite it's about a 5-meter circle. And I want the horse's ribs to be out, but I want the horse's head to be in towards me. I want his body to be in the same bend of the circle he's traveling. I want the horse to walk with his head level, but when I get on this horse, I want him in hand, I want him to ride the same circle he does here in hand. So I'm going to ask him to stop, disengage his hindquarters, stand for just a minute. Then I want to go the other direction. You notice that the outside front foot crossed over the inside front foot when he moved his shoulder there. Right here I'm looking for his back feet to fall in his front feet's tracks. I'm looking to see if I were sitting in the middle of his back, could I see the corner of his eye? If I raise my energy, can I get him to walk faster? If I slow my energy down, can I get him to slow down? All of these things to me are part of suppling, but it goes a little farther than that. If I ask the horse to back up with just a little bit of communication, will he back? Do a good diagonal back and stop. All of this stuff is important, especially if you're going to trail ride. Mainly what Tammy and I work here, we have people that do bring some show horses to us that we train, but we don't compete ourselves. But most of what we get are horses that people are having trouble going down the trail, and the number one problem is the horses are just out of control mentally. They have no education how to stand relaxed like this and pay attention. And if I need the horse to move one part of their body or another, just to move it without overreacting. I'm gonna walk back here to his side. I'm gonna ask him to move his hindquarters over just a little bit. And when I turn my body off, I want him to turn off. Guys, this is important for this horse to be able to do this. This is important for the communication between you and the horse to be this spot on. If you're going to trail ride, any kind of ride, but especially trail ride, and you get out in the middle of a national forest on a horse that's out of control, that's not balanced mentally or physically, and you can't influence his back end or his front end, or you can't get him to drop his head, he wants to just run into the bit and run. It's unsafe for you, and it's unsafe for the horse. We spend lots of time on these suppling exercises. As he's moved his hindquarters really good there, I'm going to see if I can move his shoulder away from him. I want his right front foot to cross his left front foot. Right there. That's what I want. After I get that done, of course, we're arguing with grass. After I get that done, can I get him to side pass? All of this stuff is stuff that you must be able to do if you're going to train a horse. If you want the horse to move his feet, put him on something. Come here, Jazzy. All of this stuff takes time and effort to get the horse to do this, but what is happening here is there's a reciprocal communication, and when I give the horse the cue that I need for him to do something, he listens to my cue, but he doesn't overdo it. That's a supple horse. I'm asking him just to move one end or the other. I want him to move his shoulder off of this. I want him to move around me. I want him to move his hindquarters away from me. I want him to back up. And I just want him to be able to influence whichever part of his body I can.
We'll be right back with more from Carl Bledsoe right after this.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
Equisentials Horse Care Products, a complete horse care package of all grooming, skin care, body care products, all from Equisentials. Developed by Dr. Tom Tweeton, these products are all tested and checked to make sure they're safe on your animals, horses, and in some cases dogs and the like. But you need to have Equisentials as a part of your tack box and routine. That's Equisentials Horse Care Products.
They are our family, and we only want the best for them. No standing water means clean, good tasting, algae-free, mosquito-free, and virus-free water. No risk of electric shock, no risk of fire from faulty wiring. Cool water in the summer, warm water in the winter. Water delivered fresh from the water supply at 50 degrees year-round. Drinking post water.
Can I get him to use one part of his body more than the other? Can I get him to put his feet in this ring right here? I've never done this with him, but maybe I can. Whoa, he's gonna step over it. That's okay. All I want him to do is find a place to rest here in the middle of that ring with his feet. just like that. I got one foot there. He's never done this before, but he's a supple horse. He realizes that I'm asking him to do something. I'm using the rein a certain way. I'm using my body a certain way, and he's reading my posture, and he's trying his best to draw the conclusion that I need him to do. I'm gonna bring him around and see if I can put the other foot in there. Hindquarters, move your shoulder. Come up here. Whoop, 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 whoop. We're gonna get both feet this time, sports fans. Now I'm not overusing the rein. Whoa, whoa, whoa. He can't find a place for his foot there where it's smooth. Back it up. Okay. So what you're seeing happen here, to me, this is a supple horse. I can get the horse I can influence whichever part of his body I want to, but I can also get the horse to rise to the occasion and do something different with his front end or with his back end, and he listens to the communication. You guys sat right there and watched me communicate to him. There wasn't any force there. There was a little bit of verbal communication. There was a little bit of easy boy, and I used the rope just a little bit. All of this is important because when you get in the middle of the horse's back, the horse needs to have an understanding of what the aids are. That would be your legs, your seat, and your hands. In the process that you go through when you're riding a horse is seat, legs, hands. You always ask with your seat first. You always reinforce what your seat says with your legs. And the last thing you do is you want to use your hand if something else hasn't worked. But I spend a lot of time doing these suppling exercises. Back up. Good boy. I spend a lot of time doing these suppling exercises because I want a horse to give. I want the horse to understand. If I pick this rein up, come to me. Come to me. Give just a little bit. Come to me. If I pick the rein up on this side, I want him to follow the feel of that rope and move his body accordingly. I don't want any great big reaction. I don't want any big response to me. I want him to look to me and say, "Hey, Dad, what do you need me to do?" Right there is good. Now, beyond this, since I do gaited horses, there are a couple of maneuvers that I do specific to the gaited horses in my suppling exercises that helps me build into some moves riding that I'm able to do. And one of them is a shoulder in move. And ideally what I'm trying to do is get this foot closest to me. I'm gonna come back towards you. Get this foot closest to me to cross over the front of that foot over there. Now, I use that maneuver when I'm mounted to help these gaited horses that come to me that are not in gait. That one maneuver right there, when I teach it on the ground and then I take it to a mounted exercise, it helps me achieve the correct gait with these horses. Guys, you can't do that without a supple horse. You can't do that with a horse that's not supple on both sides. So we've got to do that both directions, Jazzy. Come on around. I'm going to come back towards the camera. The leg closest to me is going to pass over the leg that's on the other side. Shoulder in maneuver. Guys, it's paramount with the gaited horses that you get that maneuver down, because like I say, it just aids in these horses gaiting correctly. It aids in these horses finding both mental and physical balance. So I spend a lot of time with my horses. I've done a couple of other educational videos in the past, and a horse being patient and waiting on you and not wanting to walk off. Horse's ability to stand quietly, not be overreactive, but be in the lesson. So when I go to the trail, I don't want this horse's head up here looking at the crowd and all that. I want the horse to have this appearance right here. You know, it's okay if he looks around and something happens over there in the edge of the woods and he needs to turn and look. It's his nature to do that. He needs to see what's going on. But I don't want a great big reaction going on with stuff. So we're going to hang out here just for a few minutes, and then I'm going to get a side pass or two. We'll go over here and I'm going to get a pole. I'll be right back. I don't always use a pole when I do this, but it's good for the horse to have a guide to go by when you first start. It's good to have the pole to do that. So I'm going to bring him up here and set him up. Then we're just going to side pass the pole. Oh, Jazzy, don't mess it up. He's not done this in probably, oh, I don't know, 6 months. And ideally what I want to do when I do this, and we're making mistakes. You guys see I don't get wrapped around the axle if the horse makes a mistake. All I'm trying to get the horse to do is to match me. If I'm asking him to do something, I'm trying to show you guys how to work and keep working to get the horse to work with you. Supple horse, one that's willing to move his body, and one that's interested enough in what you have to say that he's listening to you. All of these are great things to do with your horse, and if you're me, and you enjoy the union between the person and the horse, there's no limit to the things that you can do to teach the horse how to do this. I like for all the horses that come to me for training to get to where they're like this around me, to where they're not reactive, where they're aware of everything that's going on, but they're into the lesson, and they're like I say, supple. It's a mental thing, but it's a physical thing too. The mental part is the horse being here and being willing to listen to you. The physical part is, can you get the horse to do the different things that you need him to do? So we're going to work a few times here on suppling, communicating. I'm going to see if I can drive him around. Step over the pole here and stop. So, nope, didn't do it. So we're going to go one more time. All of this takes time. You've seen me make mistakes. You've seen Jazzy make mistakes. We're not perfect. But here's the thing, if it was perfect and you guys didn't see me make mistakes and me have to change me and change my communication for Jazzy, you wouldn't learn from stuff. All of this stuff's doable for anybody if you just get out there and try it. I'm gonna bring his shoulder back around. We're gonna go the other direction. I'm going to see if I can move him laterally off of it. Bring his head to me. Well, kind of. Okay, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little session today. I hope I gave you some insight on some of the different things you can do that will help your horse be a better partner for you It'll help him be more balanced mentally. It'll be more balanced physically. You can get me on Facebook. It's Just Gait or Carl Bledsoe. My website's Carl Bledsoe Horsemanship. Thanks so much, guys.
Hey, thanks for joining us here on Speaking of Horses. We'll see you down the trail.